right, viewers, now 5 European countries that include Britain, France, Germany, Sweden and the Netherlands have confirmed that Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was poisoned with a lethal toxin. The governments, in a joint statement released today, concluded that analysis of Navalny's samples identified epibatidine as the cause of his death. This is reportedly a deadly neurotoxin and is not naturally found in Russia, suggesting deliberate poisoning. Alexei Navalny, who died in 2020 while imprisoned in a Russian penal colony, was known for his strong opposition to Russian President Vladimir Putin's government. The 5 governments have argued that Russia had the means, motive and opportunity to carry out the poisoning. Additionally, the European governments have pointed out Russia's repeated disregard for international law, particularly the Chemical Weapons Convention. Meanwhile, in a statement posted on X, Yulia Navalnaya, Alexei's wife, has expressed her gratitude to the European states for uncovering the truth around her husband's death. Let's now welcome Mr. Raymond Vickery, International Affairs expert, former U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce, in this discussion. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, Mr. Vickery, for joining us. It's good to see you here at NewsX World. Mr. Vickery, how do you respond to these 5 nations now coming together on the second year, of the pressing of charges, and the almost 6 years after Navalny was poisoned?
Well, thanks very much for allowing me to comment on this. It seems to me that the actions of the 5 nations in Western Europe are an indication that they are not willing to rely on the United States of America any longer for leadership in regard to Russia and the threat that it poses to Western Europe, most recently exemplified, of course, by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. You know, in order to wage peace, just like you wage war, you have to have a strategy, you have to have partners, and you have to have principles. Unfortunately, the United States has abdicated this role under President Trump. We do not have an overall strategy. The ability to work with partners, in spite of what Secretary Rubio is saying, has been very, very much damaged by the whole Greenland situation. And indeed, President Trump's view of Putin, that he is able to have a real estate style transaction which will solve problems when the supposed 2 great men get together and then they make the decisions. It seems to me that the actions of these 5 nations show that Western Europe is not willing to rely on the United States. The United States isn't bringing up anything about Navalny or chemicals. President Trump wants to have a deal done, just as you would for real estate in Queens, New York. That approach does not work, and it remains to be seen, though, whether or not that all of Western Europe is going to be able to pull together to have a unified strategy and to have a broad enough partnership to be able to move forward, because the United States is the essential nation because of the nuclear umbrella which it holds. So this is an indication to me that the split is continuing and is indicative that the United States needs to get back to having a common strategy with its NATO partners, and it needs to act upon principle rather than just what's in it for me right now.
All right, as far as Russia is concerned, do you think the government can be held accountable over Navalny's death?
Well, the attempt is to hold the Russian government accountable through international means. Obviously, there is no way to hold the perpetrators accountable within Russia itself. But one of the interesting developments lately has been Russians who are in opposition to Putin rejoining and becoming more active in regard to organizations which look toward the peace and security of all of Europe. So it should not be seen that Putin is necessarily Russia, just as it shouldn't be seen that President Trump is necessarily the United States of America. There are democratic factions within Russia who are becoming more active with their counterparts in Western Europe, and it is to be hoped that democratic factions in all of these countries are going to draw together and act upon principles of non-aggression, democracy, rule of law, which are firmly established in the United Nations Charter, rather than succumbing to the Trump administration approach of not trying to hold the Russian government accountable, but really just trying to make a deal in which the administration comes out with a supposed victory.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Vikri, for your comment here, but I request you to stay on with me for further discussions as well. Viewers, now NATO